What if the person you thought was gone forever suddenly came back? What if the love you buried deep in your heart was never really gone? Heartland. Season 19 is not just another chapter. It's a storm of emotions. Ty Borden's return isn't a dream, and it's not just a twist. It's a moment that will change everything. From Amy's silent heartbreak to the future of their family, his reappearance cracks open wounds that never truly healed. But that's not all. As Hudson welcomes back a ghost from the past, a new romance brews, secrets start to unravel, and the Fleming Bartlett family is about to face a season that no one is prepared for. Ty Borden's return wasn't announced, it wasn't expected, and it certainly wasn't easy. He came back quietly, without warning, as if he had simply stepped out for a long ride and found his way home again. But he isn't the same man who left. There's a heaviness in his eyes, a distance in his voice. The years he spent away, whatever he went through, left marks that even Amy can't read right away. For a moment, time stands still in Heartland. Everyone is caught between joy and disbelief, between hope and fear. Amy, who spent the last few years trying to rebuild her life piece by piece, is suddenly staring at the one piece she never thought she'd have again. The first few days after Ty's return are full of silence, awkward glances, and unspoken questions. Where was he? Why didn't he come back sooner? And most importantly, what does his return mean now, when Amy has been slowly letting herself move on? Just as she started opening up to Nathan, just as she began believing in second chances, the past has come back and taken shape right in front of her. It's not just Amy who's shaken. Lindy, still young but deeply intuitive, senses that something big is happening. She doesn't quite understand what her father's return means, but she feels the weight of it. Jack, always the rock of the family, is torn between his loyalty to Ty and his protective instincts toward Amy. He watches quietly, knowing that one wrong word could unravel everything. Lou, on the other hand, isn't quiet. She's furious, she's confused, and she's not hiding it. For years, she watched Amy suffer in silence. She was there during the breakdowns, the lonely nights, the unanswered questions. Now Ty returns as if time stopped just for him. Lou wants answers. And more than that, she wants to protect her sister from getting hurt all over again. But anger isn't the only emotion in the air. There's relief too. Hope. The tiniest flicker of what used to be. But hope is dangerous, especially in Heartland, where love is often tested by time and truth. Nathan's world is collapsing slowly and painfully. He had no idea Ty was alive, and even if he had, nothing could have prepared him for this. His growing relationship with Amy had become the most stable part of his life. Now, he's watching it slip through his fingers. He can't compete with a memory, let alone a living, breathing version of it. And yet, Nathan doesn't give up. He knows Amy better than most. He understands that she's torn, and he's willing to fight. Not against Ty, but for his own place in her heart. But the battle isn't fair. Ty and Amy have a history no one can erase. Meanwhile, the town of Hudson is buzzing. Word spreads fast, and so do opinions. Some welcome Ty back with open arms. Others question the timing, and a few wonder if he's hiding something, if there's more to his story than he's telling. Gracie, Nathan's sister, is especially suspicious. She never liked the idea of Amy being with Nathan, and now she sees Ty's return as an opportunity to push them apart. She begins stirring the pot, using every chance she gets to remind Amy where her true loyalty lies. But Amy is stuck in a storm of emotions. Every moment with Ty feels like a step into the past, comfortable, familiar, but fragile. She remembers the pain of losing him, the way it broke her. And now, with him back, she's terrified of trusting that this time will be different. She wants answers, closure, maybe even forgiveness. But most of all, she wants to understand what her heart is trying to tell her. Because while Ty may have returned, the future remains uncertain. And in Heartland, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Ty's return was supposed to bring healing, but instead, it's unearthing secrets no one was ready to confront. Amy, still trying to make sense of it all, finds herself pulled in two directions. On one side, there's Ty, the love of her life, the father of her child, the man whose absence defined her for years. On the other, there's Nathan, a man who entered her life quietly, helped her find strength again, and slowly became someone she could lean on. Now, with both men standing in her world, Amy's heart is at war with itself. And what makes it even harder is that neither of them is backing away. Ty doesn't speak much about where he's been, but when he does, the pain is real. He opens up in fragments, about being taken by surprise, about choosing to stay away for their safety, about trying to return and failing again and again. Amy listens, her heart breaking all over again. She wants to believe him. She wants to forgive him. But something inside her keeps holding back. She isn't the same Amy who once stood by Ty through thick and thin. Life has changed her. Heartland has changed her. And now, for the first time, she's realizing that loving someone deeply doesn't always mean letting them back in. Nathan can feel it too. He sees the shift in Amy, the hesitation, the confusion, the way her eyes wander when Ty walks into a room. Still, he doesn't walk away. Instead, he doubles down, becoming more involved in her life, helping with Lindy, showing up at the ranch even when he's not needed. He believes that what he and Amy have is real, and he's not ready to let go without a fight. But as he tries to hold on, Gracie begins to push harder. She questions Ty's intentions, his timing, even the truth behind his return. And with every whisper, every cold remark, she drives a deeper wedge between the families. Gracie's sudden interest in Price Beef isn't just about business. It's about control. She wants to secure her family's future and remove Amy from Nathan's life at the same time. Her calculated moves start to create tension between Tim and Nathan, and even Lou finds herself questioning if Amy's heart is truly in the right place. The Fleming Bartlett family is walking on eggshells, unsure how to welcome Ty back without reopening old wounds. Meanwhile, Lindy is caught in the middle. She's old enough to sense the emotional chaos, but too young to understand its roots. One moment she's clinging to her father, the next she's retreating into silence. Amy watches helplessly as her daughter begins to unravel, and it's this that forces her to act. For Lindy's sake, Amy agrees to sit down with Ty and finally have the conversation they've both been avoiding. What follows is raw, painful, and long overdue. Ty confesses everything. How he tried to return, how he was kept away by forces beyond his control, how he thought disappearing was the only way to keep them safe. He breaks down. And for a moment, Amy does too. But just when it seems like the air is clearing, another storm brews. Caleb, once a steady presence in Amy's life, begins to notice things others don't. He sees Nathan pushing too hard. He sees Gracie scheming in the shadows. And most importantly, he sees Amy's walls crumbling again. Concerned, he reaches out to Lou, and together they start to piece together a bigger picture. Something about Ty's return doesn't sit right. Not the timing, not the silence, not the gaps in his story. They're not ready to accuse him of lying, but they aren't ready to trust him blindly either. Meanwhile, Katie is dealing with her own whirlwind. Her decision to stay in Hudson after Lou's accident was rooted in love, but her dreams of attending Vancouver Fine Arts School still burn bright. Dodger encourages her to chase her future, even if it means leaving him behind. Their young love is tested by ambition and responsibility, mirroring the very themes that run through the adult relationships around them. Amid all this, Chloe's pregnancy becomes a rare source of joy. As her due date approaches, the family rallies around her. Tim, despite his usual stubbornness, becomes the softest version of himself. His excitement about being a grandfather gives Heartland a breath of peace. But even in this happiness, there's uncertainty. The baby's arrival is a reminder that time keeps moving forward, no matter how messy or unresolved the past may be. Back at the ranch, Amy stands at a crossroads. Her past and present are colliding, and the weight of every choice she's ever made is pressing down on her. She knows she has to choose, but how do you choose between the love that shaped you and the love that saved you? Between the father of your child and the man who stood by you when you were lost? In Heartland, nothing is ever simple. And as season 19 unfolds, it's clear. This isn't just a story about a return. It's about identity, forgiveness, and the price of love. Because when the heart is torn between what once was and what could be, someone is bound to get hurt. Amy has always been the emotional anchor of Heartland, but now even she feels adrift. As season 19 moves deeper into its twists and turns, The pressure builds not just around her, but within her. The question hanging in every scene is the same. Who will she choose? Ty or Nathan? And the truth is, Amy doesn't even know yet. Every time she tries to picture her future, both men are there, but the deeper she searches her heart, the more she realizes this choice isn't about picking between two people, it's about finding who she is now. Because the woman who once stood beside Ty is not the same woman trying to rebuild her world today. Ty, meanwhile, is still a mystery. He's doing all the right things, reconnecting with Lindy, helping around the ranch, trying to blend back into the life he once left behind. But cracks are starting to show. His story has missing pieces, and Amy can feel it. When she finally confronts him, the truth hits hard. During his time away, Ty was involved in something dangerous. It wasn't just about staying away for safety. It was about survival. He was working undercover with a veterinary relief group in a conflict zone, something that was never supposed to be public. He saw things, lost people, and at one point, believed he might never return. That's why he didn't write. That's why he didn't call. And now that he's back, he's trying to forget a version of himself that never belonged in Heartland. Amy listens, and for the first time, she begins to understand the weight he's carrying. But even understanding doesn't erase the pain of absence. She tells him, gently but clearly, that love isn't just about sacrifice. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. And though she loves him deeply, she's not sure they can rebuild something that's been silent for so long. Ty nods. He knows it too. Nathan sees what's happening and starts to pull away. Not out of anger, but out of respect. He tells Amy that he doesn't want to be a second choice. He wants to be chosen for who he is, not as a replacement for who she lost. It's a heartbreaking but honest conversation, and Amy is left more conflicted than ever. For the first time, she's being forced to face a truth she's avoided. Maybe love isn't about grand reunions or perfectly timed relationships. Maybe it's about choosing yourself first, your peace, your growth, your truth. As the emotional tension simmers, Gracie takes a drastic step. She pushes through legal action to secure her position as co-owner of Price Beef, and it splits the community. Tim and Jack stand firmly against her, and even Nathan begins to question her motives. He realizes that his sister's interference has done more harm than good. In a surprising turn, he confronts her publicly, siding with Amy and defending the Fleming Bartlett family. That moment changes everything. It shows Amy a side of Nathan that's selfless, mature, and protective. And for a brief second, she sees what a life with him could look like: grounded, honest, and secure. Elsewhere, Katie finally makes a decision. After much back and forth, she chooses to leave for Vancouver to attend the fine arts school. Her farewell is emotional, especially for Lou and Tim, but it's also filled with pride. Katie represents the next generation of Heartland, bold, creative, and ready to chase dreams even if it means letting go. Dodger promises to visit, but both of them know this might be the start of a new path, not just a pause. Then comes the birth. Chloe gives birth to a healthy baby girl, surrounded by family and love. The moment brings everyone together. Amy, Ty, Nathan, Lou, Jack, Tim, even Gracie, who quietly watches from the corner. For just one evening, the chaos fades, and the unity that once defined Heartland glows again. Ty holds the baby, his hands shaking slightly, and it's in that moment that Amy sees something in his eyes. Not regret, not hope, but peace. It's as if he's ready to move on, with or without her. And maybe, just maybe, that's what they both need. In the final scenes of the season, Amy takes a solo ride through the Heartland fields. The wind in her hair, the horizon wide and free. She stops by a tree where she once carved her name beside Ty's. She touches it gently, then walks away. Not with bitterness, not with heartbreak, but with clarity. She knows her heart will always have room for Ty, but her future has to be her own. When she returns home, Nathan is there, helping Jack fix a fence. He looks up and their eyes meet, not with questions, but with quiet understanding. Amy doesn't make a dramatic declaration. She doesn't need to. This isn't about choosing one man over another. It's about choosing her life, on her terms, with honesty, strength, and freedom. And in true Heartland fashion, it ends not with a final answer, but with a new beginning. Because some stories don't need perfect endings, just honest ones. Heartland, Season 19 isn't just about Ty's shocking return or Amy's impossible decision. It's about the emotional journey we've all taken with these characters, the heartbreaks, the triumphs, the quiet moments that say everything without a single word. As the season unfolds, we're reminded that life is messy, love is complicated, and sometimes the strongest choice is the one that puts healing before history. Amy's story this season is not about going back, it's about moving forward. Whether she finds love again with Nathan, rekindles something with Ty, or chooses to walk her path alone, one thing is certain: she's doing it with strength, grace, and honesty. And that's the kind of growth Heartland has always been about. As we wait for the next episode or trailer to drop, let's take a moment to appreciate how far these characters have come. From horses and heartbreaks to hope and healing, Heartland continues to give us stories that feel real and remind us of our own journeys. Now it's your turn. What are your thoughts on Amy's future? Do you think Ty deserves a second chance? Or is it time for a new chapter with Nathan? Let me know in the comments. And if you're just as hooked as I am, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because if Season 19 has taught us anything, it's that in Heartland, the story is never truly over. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.